Hey Nash, what should we make?
We've made Marry Me Chicken. Now let's try making Creamy Tuscan Chicken. It's kind of healthy, looks delicious, and it's a one-pan deal.
All right, let's make a one-pan Tuscan chicken. Welcome back to Chaos Kitchen, where for 2026, we're definitely trying to make more healthy-ish, but still delicious and easy recipes. So today, we're gonna make Tuscan chicken. If you're not familiar, strap in, it's delicious. It's actually very similar to Marry Me Chicken, but it's got a few differences, so the only way to find out is to keep watching. So without further ado, let's go. And we start by dicing an onion. I would say 1 large or 2 small, whatever you got, you know, make it work. And then we take out some sun-dried tomatoes. We diced these guys up. I drained them. And these have been sitting in a jar of oil for like 5 years, so they should dice pretty easily. Then we take out a few chicken thighs. If you really want to use chicken breast, go for it. It'll totally work. But I'm telling you, if you've ever had problems with dry chicken, use chicken thighs because they have more flavor and they're way more forgiving. So they're really hard to overcook because you can take them way past 165 and they're still going to taste pretty good and not be super dry. Anyways, that's my tip of the day. The more you know. So then we want to hit these guys on both sides with some kosher salt, some black pepper, and some Italian seasoning. Then we set these aside. Then in a hot pan on medium heat. When I say hot pan, that just means that like we already have the heat on. Versus a cold pan like we use with bacon, that just means that we don't turn the heat on until after we put the bacon in. So it heats up slowly versus we're putting this into a hot pan. It doesn't mean that it needs to be on high heat. Anyways, you probably all knew that, but I felt the need to blame myself for some reason. I don't know. Anyways, a little bit of oil. I'm using avocado. Use what you want, but probably something with a high smoke point, aka not olive oil, at least not extra virgin. Then we take our chicken and we lay them in here, presentation side down. That means the prettier side. So see, that side is prettier than that side. So this side goes down first because the first side you put down is always gonna get the best sear, look the best. So that's the one you're going to serve up on a plate when you serve it to the date you're cooking this for, or whoever you're cooking this for. So we just want to cook these. We don't need to cook them all the way through necessarily because we're going to get them back in the pan later on, but we want to get a nice golden brown sear on each side, probably about 3 to 4 minutes. Once you got a nice little golden brown right there, we'll just go ahead and flip these guys. Once our chicken's nice and seared on both sides, we can go ahead and pull it, set it aside on a plate or the same sheet pan I used to season them in, but I washed it because they were raw before and now they're not. Then leaving the heat on, go ahead and pour in some of that sun-dried tomato oil and we add our onions. We don't need any serious caramelization here. We're just trying to cook these until softened. But while you're doing this, you know, just try to scrape up any of that fond, you know, the stuff stuck to the bottom of the pan because that's all delicious flavor left behind by our chicken. We usually use like wine or vinegar or something to deglaze the pan, but onions actually work pretty well. So we just get these kind of cooking and then we just sort of let them go for a few minutes. And once your onions are kind of softened, have a little bit of color, and you see how nicely look, all that fond is gone. Who'd have thunk? Onions can deglaze a pan. I've said it before, but you probably think I'm crazy. And I might be. That's cool. We clear out a little landing spot, toss in about 4 cloves of minced garlic. Let that cook until fragrant, about 45 seconds, maybe a minute. And then we stir that in. Then we add in our sun-dried tomatoes. You could probably do about half of what I just did. I just used the whole jar. It was this guy because I don't have a whole lot of things I use sun-dried tomatoes in. So extra sun-dried tomatoes aren't gonna make this recipe they're not gonna make this recipe bad. And I just don't really have a whole lot of use for keeping them around. So we stir that all in. Then we just let that cook for about another minute. Then we add about 2 cups of baby spinach. Get that stirred in. We want these guys to wilt. And don't worry, they will reduce considerably. And once that's pretty much starting to wilt, then we add 1.5 cups of heavy cream and about 1/4 cup of parm or more. Why not? I mean, can you really have too much cheese in a dish? Let me stir all that in. At this point, I would say bring it up to a simmer, but we're already there. So lay your chicken in. Make sure and spoon some of this sauce over the top so they're all kind of covered. Let everything simmer together for a few minutes. Let all the flavors marry. And once everything is simmered for a few minutes, your chicken is done. You can go ahead and kill the heat and remove our chicken. And there we have our lovely Tuscan chicken. We're just gonna finish these guys off with a little extra parm and just a tiny bit of parsley. Not that we really need more greens, but why not? It makes it look fancy, you know? You gotta impress your date that's not gonna marry you, because it's not marry me chicken. It's just like really, really close to marry me chicken. And there we have our Tuscan chicken. And it's time for a bite. Look at that. Cheers. It's rich, it's creamy, the chicken is juicy. You got the sun-dried tomatoes and all those spices. It's friggin' amazing. I highly recommend this. Go make it. It is very similar to Marry Me Chicken. And we've made Marry Me Chicken and a ton of other Marry Me recipes, a lot of which we actually kind of just invented. I'll link some of those in the description. So you may be wondering, well, what's the difference between this and Marry Me Chicken? Because it seems really similar. The difference is Marry Me Chicken has pancetta, or you could use bacon, tomato paste, and basil. And this one doesn't have those three, but it does have spinach. So very, very similar. We're talking about bacon and tomato paste, pancetta and tomato paste. Why did she say no?
Did you leave out the bacon?
Oh, man.
I'd leave you too if you denied me bacon.
Anyways, this is delicious. One pan, really good. Tastes fancy, but it's pretty easy to make. So if you want to make a date or your family or anyone something that seems kind of fancy that's really not that hard to make, doesn't require a whole lot of time or a whole lot of cleanup, go ahead and make this. Out of 10. That's what I think, but hey, let's see what Nash thinks. Hey, bud, how you doing?
I'm good, man, but the DeLorean is on the fritz. I tried to go back to the 80s when you were a kid, but instead it took me to the Cretaceous period and I had to fight a velociraptor.
Dang, really?
Yeah, but the movies lie. They're much smaller and basically just angry turkeys.
Well, check it out. We made this Tuscan chicken that you wanted. And of course, we made a dog-friendly version just for you. Well, here you go. What do you think?
Oh, that's phenomenal. I take back what I said about no bacon. It's rich and creamy and packed with flavor. Not to mention a good way to sneak some veggies in.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
If you're sad, pet a dog and you will be okay. If you're mad, pet a dog and you will be okay. If you're happy, pet a dog and you will be happier. Always pet dogs.
Nash approves, I approve. Look, this is a great dish. It's easy to make. It's one pan. It comes together pretty quick, and it definitely passes his fancy, so go make it. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you all. Love you all. If you wouldn't mind taking a second, go like, share, subscribe, hype, hit the bell for notifications, all that good stuff. If there's anything you want me to cook, you want me and Nash to taste, go ahead and drop that down in the comments. And hey, if you like this video and you want to see others that could pass as fancy dishes, go check out those over here somewhere. And just remember, cook more, eat better, embrace the chaos. That's it for now, folks. Until next time, be good and peace.